Philly's favorite 100.7 FM and 99.5 HD3. Welcome to another Real Talk with the real estate diva, Desiree McDuffie. Today, we'll be discussing some more general things about real estate as an industry, as a business, and that includes both the buying and selling of property. So stay tuned. We got a good one for you. Let's go.
Everyone, this is Desiree Real Estate Diva with another episode of Real Talk with the Real Estate Diva, and today we are going to be myth busting real estate, right? Yes, myth busting. So I'm actually going to use Chris. Chris is going to be my guinea pig, y'all. So we're going to see how much he's been paying attention.
Oh boy, pray for me, y'all. Pray for me.
Hopefully you've been getting a lot of good information, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We've been doing this now for what, like 3-4 months? About 4 months now.
Absolutely,
so you should have some good real estate. Okay, so you should get all of these right now. I think. Yeah.
I mean, manage expectations here, but we're gonna do our best.
All right, let's see. All right, so we're just gonna jump right into it. The first myth or question we're going to ask, and you're going to give me true or false.
Okay.
Got
it. Ready.
All right, so I'm going to take you as the public, right? Let's just see what you guys think out there. All right. So the first one is real estate agents make 6% of the purchase price when selling a property.
I'm going to say false because I believe the percentage is higher.
Oh.
I'm going to say, I know that's come up before during one of the shows. I'm going to say the percentage is a little higher than that. I'm going to say at least 10%.
At least 10%?
At least 10%.
Okay. All right. So if I sell, let's say, $100,000 house, right?
Yeah.
Then I walk away with $10,000.
Yes. That sounds like a lot. Maybe
$1 million house, I walk away with $100,000.
That sounds like a lot of money. It's probably a little less than that.
You think real estate agents make a lot of money?
I do, but when you actually say the amount, like $1 million house make $100,000, that's an entire salary. You may not have to. That's one house. You could do one house a year.
Listen, I'm ready for it. You want to give me 10% of $1 million house? I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
For sure. Yeah. All right. So here's the thing. The answer to that is actually false.
Okay.
Real estate agents' commission is really negotiable.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I can't necessarily say that there's a standard for the commission amount.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even really say there's an average because this is being recorded, right?
Yes.
But what I will say is that let's just say on most sales that I have done, I can speak out me, right?
Your experience. Yep.
My experience, the commission is about 6%.
6%, okay.
6% of the purchase price. Okay. Now, here's the thing. This is a part B.
All right.
To that. Do you think that I get that whole 6%? So if it's $100,000, right? Just for clean numbers.
Yep.
Do I get $6,000? Or if it's $1 million, do I get $60,000?
I would think you would.
I get the whole thing?
Yeah, because there are other fees. Okay, so I guess after all the fees that you have to pay, what's left from that is what you would get.
Is what I would get.
You get 6% of that.
I would get 6% of that?
Yes,
all right, so let me break it down for you, okay?
Please, let's get into it.
Typically, when a real estate agent lists the property on the market, right, they agree to an amount that the seller is going to pay their agent as well as the buyer's agent.
Okay.
Yep. So that whatever that amount is, let's just throw out the 6%.
Yep.
That amount is split between two agents. So we don't get as much as you think we get, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so that amount is split to pay your listing agent as well as the buyer's agent, right?
So if it was 6%, you would get, the seller's agent would get 3% technically. And the buyer's agent would also get 3%. Interesting.
Yeah. And then guess what?
What?
Out of that 3%, there's there goes the fees, right? Because if that agent works with the brokerage, then that brokerage has to get their percentage, right? They get their money. Then Uncle Sam gets his money.
Yes,
right?
Uncle Sam, you're gonna be there.
Exactly. Then there's on the list side, there's like marketing fees and all kinds of fees. And people don't realize that, a lot of people think that real estate agents make a ton of money. You know, they see that amount on, the settlement sheet, and they think, oh my God, my real estate agent has walked away with all that money. But they don't realize being a real estate agent is actually pretty expensive. We have realtor fee, realtor dues. We have to pay our real estate commission. We have to pay for access to the MLS, right? We have marketing fees.
Wait, what is the MLS?
The MLS is the multiple listing service or system, whatever the S stands for. MLS. Basically, that's where we as agents put all of the information about properties on there. So when you go onto Zillow and Realtor.com and all of those websites, they receive their information from our system.
Got it.
Okay. So if we don't put that information in our system in most situations, you don't get to see that information on the third-party websites. If your real estate agents are sending you listings, that's where it's coming from. The MLS. But we got to pay for that. Right? We have to pay for that. And there's errors and emissions insurance. I was about to say E&O, but I know you want to say.
Yes, that's right. I got to break it down for us.
Yes, what is E&O insurance? And there's a lot of other fees that we as real estate agents have to pay. So being a real estate agent is quite expensive.
And then even just the travel fees that you're paying if you're driving to
gas,
all of these.
Exactly. Gas is expensive, right? So we have all of those fees as well. And for people think that they're going to become a real estate agent and automatically get like rich and I'm going to have all of this money. And what I can tell you is that most real estate agents or most people who take the classes to become a real estate agent, when they're hit with the amount of fees that they're going to have to pay, they're like, whoa. And I can't tell you how many real estate agents have told me they were going to get started, but they weren't able to get started because of all of the upfront fees that they have to pay. So, unfortunately, I wish we did walk away with all of that money. But unfortunately, we don't. All right, so that's myth number one, busted. Okay.
Can I ask, how was that for you? Because you mentioned how starting out, getting hit with all those upfront fees, that's a big obstacle. So is there any advice for getting over that obstacle specifically of all the upfront fees for a newer real estate agent?
Absolutely. You have to save your money, decide. So here's the thing. Once you pass the licensing exam, you're actually going out there and you're interviewing various different brokerages. Some brokerages may be willing to offer you the option to go out there, start working, and then you could pay some of these fees back to them, on the back end. Okay. All I can say is be careful with that. Because there are some that, will charge, you all of these fees and then you get because nothing is for free, right? So, and then you get your commission check and you're like, wait, I did all of this work and I walked away with X amount of not $500, so just be careful with that. But the best way to do it is to just put money to the side. The average real estate agent doesn't close their first deal for at least 6 months. Okay, so you have to be prepared. Have some, especially if you're quitting your job. And jumping right into real estate.
Full real estate.
Exactly. You're really just jumping out there on faith and saying, I'm going from this to this. Have at least 6 months saved up, exactly, to be able to cover your bills. Not just your real estate bills, but your basic living expenses. Have that money set to the side because you may and please, whatever you do not, even if you do put a deal together, do not spend that money before the deal closes. A lot of agents, a lot of agents do that. Oh, I have this $7,000 commission coming in, $8,000 commission coming in. I'm going to go and do, and then that deal dies.
Ooh. Man, that's heartbreaking. Ooh. I'm not even in the situation. That's heartbreaking for me.
Believe me, it is. It's very heartbreaking when you look at, I got this money coming in, because you do your calculations. We all do, right? Do my little calculations for next month. I'm like, this is what I'm bringing in. And then that deal dies, bam, it's gone. Right? So whatever you do not spend that money before you actually get the check. Now, there are some companies out here now who will offer real estate agents, I guess they could get their commission or something. I don't want none of that. Okay, they'll loan you your commission money and then you have to pay them back. And I don't want any of that. So just do the work. Keep your deals together, so you can get paid in the end. But yes, that would be my recommendation. Just save your money to be able to get started the right way. Absolutely. Do not say, I'm not going to get the MLS. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Make sure you have all of the equipment you need, all of the programs you need to be a successful real estate agent.
Do it the right way. Do it efficiently.
Do it efficiently. All right, I actually just answered the darn question. The next question, the next myth I had, what I wanted to ask you, I'm gonna see if you were paying attention. Okay. Let's see. All right, so realtor commissions are negotiable.
Yes, they are negotiable. Yes,
Gave you a tip. Yes,
true.
It is negotiable. However, because you have some sellers, right, who may say, "Oh, real estate agents' commission is negotiable. You're asking for a 6% commission. I'm only going to give you 3% commission, right? Yeah, because I'm negotiating with you. Yep." But keep in mind, right? Everyone's here to get paid.
Yes. Nothing is free.
Nothing is free, right? So remember, the commission is split.
Yes.
So if you offering your real estate agent 3%, how much do they have to offer the buyer's agent? Yeah. Right? I'm not saying it's half, whatever that your agent does, but let's just say it's 1.5% now. They have to offer the buyer's agent.
That's not much.
Yeah, it's not much.
They may not want to take that offer.
Yeah, they may not want to take it. So as a seller, you want to put yourself in the strongest position possible. I get it. We all want to save money, right? But on average, homes that have a significantly less commission offered, and I still have to be very careful with this, but homes that have a lower commission offered to agents, right, typically stay on the market longer. Because agents aren't necessarily going to go out their way to sell those houses. If a buyer is trying to decide whether or not they want to buy house A or B, house A is offering 1.5% commission, house B is offering 3% commission. That buyer looks to their agent and say, well, which house do you think I should get?
Right, yeah.
What house is which house are they going to point out all the wonderful benefits of? We can't sway a buyer either way, but I can point out some things about that house, that the buyer, have already said that they love about it. Seems like we found the house for you. This is it. The one, we can do that. So just be very careful with your negotiating of commissions with your real estate agent.
It has to be competitive.
It should definitely be competitive, okay? Because you don't want your house just sitting on the market because you're trying to save money. Because what happens is the longer the house is on the market, the less your house in most situations is going to end up selling for anyway. Okay, so you think you're saving money, but you're actually losing money. Yeah. Okay. And then also think about it. I don't know how much money you make, right? But if your boss just said they're going to pay you half of what you normally get, what you going to do?
I'll be on Indeed looking for another job, probably.
Exactly. So in most situations, you're not going to be able to capture a strong agent because we are all independently, we're independent contractors, right? So I'm self-employed. So if I'm sitting with you, Chris, and I'm showing you all the wonderful things I'm going to do to sell your property, and you say, yeah, but I'm only going to give you, X amount of commission, which is half of what I normally would accept.
Yeah, you're not going to put in as much effort.
Probably. I'm not taking the listing because we have the right to do that, right? Yeah. So I am walking out the door and I'm saying good luck to you. Yep. with selling it with a discount broker, discount agent who's not, like you said, going to put as much effort into it. They're going to put a sign up in front of your house, maybe. I'm not going to speak on what anybody else will do, but, they may not put full effort into it because you're asking for a discount. Yeah. You're asking for a sale. So
that goes to the point of something we talked about on some of our previous week's shows about you have to come to the table initially with a certain amount of money ready. You can't just be trying to cut a bunch of corners and trying to start up the whole process, because you're gonna miss out. You're gonna not get great offers, but also too, like, the effort from your realtor or even finding a good realtor to begin with.
Yeah, finding a good realtor to begin with. Yeah. I mean, hopefully if their agent won't. Well, actually, there is something where you can offer full service or limited service, So in most situations, if an agent were to accept such a lower commission, which they, again, have the right to do, you'll get limited service from them. Yeah. So do you want full service or do you want limited service? Yeah. That's completely up to you.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's almost like there are two different markets you have to keep in mind. You have to keep in mind, like, the general housing market, but then also, too, the realtor market, because there's two prices you have to have in mind and be competitive with both.
Yeah, and that actually takes me to one of the other questions that I have on the list. I'm going to skip to the next one since this is like a segue into it. All real estate agents are the same. True or false?
False. Gotta be false.
Gotta be false. Exactly, right? All real estate agents are not the same, right? All real estate brokerages are not the same. So if, cousin, Joey's sister, brother, uncle just got their license, right? And someone calls you up and say, use that person, and they have no experience, then that truly may affect your experience. Right? And selling or buying your property, right? So just be selective. Just because someone has their license does not mean that they're a good agent. Right. The same way you would do research on, let's say, your children's daycare. Right?
Absolutely.
Or a doctor. You're going to go see. A lawyer you're going to hire. Do the same thing for the real estate agent you're going to hire. Right? Because, this is one of the most expensive transactions that you'll ever make, either buying or selling. Yeah, so make sure that you're hiring an agent that has experience.
Absolutely.
Tried, true, tested. They can show you some numbers about what they're doing and what they've done and how they've helped people.
Yeah.
For sure.
Got it. Another question for you.
Yes.
Can you explain the roles of the brokerage and the real estate agent? What are the differences? Can you have a real estate agent that is not under a brokerage and still doing business? What are the roles of each?
So no. In Pennsylvania, at least, I can't speak for anywhere else, but in Pennsylvania, when you get your license as a real estate agent, you have to hang it under a brokerage.
Got it.
Okay, so you have to choose what brokerage you're going to, go with, what name you want to attach yourself with. Okay. That question can go right or left, but I'll take it to left right now when it comes to a real estate agent, right? Choosing the brokerage that they want to go to. This is what I learned. Just because a brokerage is offering me 100% commission,
right,
does not mean that that's the brokerage I need to go to.
Yeah.
Because if they're offering me 100% commission, right, there may be other hidden fees, just like anything else, right? Nothing is free, right? So there may be extra desk fees and all kinds of things that they charge. But also, if they're not training you and supporting you as a real estate agent, and again, I can't speak for every brokerage, but in my experience in talking to other real estate agents who have been to some of those 100%, commission brokerages, a lot of times they don't offer the services and supports that you need as an agent. Why? Because they're not making any money.
Yeah.
Right? So all you're really doing is paying for your desk fee. That's where they're making their money. when
Yeah.
you're paying that, $90 a month or whatever it is, I don't know what it is, to be able to hang your license with them. But if they have 100 agents doing that, then that's where they're making their money, right? They're not making money investing in you as an agent, making sure that you understand the contract, right? You understand the sales contract. You're not getting yourself in positions where you're getting sued. Right. Or you're getting the brokerage sued because they're training you on what to do and what not to do. Okay. So, and they're also training you on how to actually go out there and get more business. Right. Develop yourself as a real estate agent. Right. So I tell people all the time, 100% of nothing is nothing.
Yeah. Yep.
It's nothing, right? It doesn't matter how much a person is willing to pay you if you're not making any money.
Absolutely.
Off of it, right? Yeah. So, if you have to sacrifice a little bit of that percentage and go somewhere where they're going to train and develop you, then to me, it's worth it.
That sounds a lot more worth it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I can just talk from my experience, and I've been with several brokerages throughout my years, but there was a time where I sacrificed that percentage to go to a company where I could grow. Right. Yeah. And then I was able to renegotiate. Once I have my muscles, I done built my muscles up. But, while you're still growing, go somewhere that's going to actually invest in you as an agent.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you've consistently talked about the people who have been instrumental in your learning and your growth as an agent. So that's, clearly you've been mentioned how important it is to be surrounded by people who can help you grow.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I was at one brokerage and I was doing well there. I was actually doing very well there. Yeah. But I was a big fish in a small pond. Right. With no room to grow. Yeah. Like the people I was around, like they've been in the business 20, 30 years. I'm like 5-6 years in, and I'm doing more than what they were doing. Yeah. And they're coming to me asking me a bunch of questions. I'm like, something's wrong with this picture.
First of all, go ahead, Des. Okay. Go ahead.
But I didn't say that to brag, but thank you. But I said that because I decided, I made a decision to go to a different brokerage so I can be around people like Phil Cavacanto that we had on the show, Jeremy Bowers that we had on the show. So I can be around these people and they can help me to grow. Absolutely. And then I became a small fish in a big pond, but I could move up a little bit. I could grow. There's room to grow. Absolutely. Exactly. So, a lot of people, I don't know, they're happy with being the big fish. I don't need to be the big fish. I'm all right. Just give me a little medium. I can grow, spread my, fins. I was about to say wings. Fish don't have wings, but, my fins a little bit, right? Yeah. So, so on the other side, as far as choosing the brokerage, when you're looking to buy or sell a property, name recognition is important, especially when it comes to selling your property. A lot of, how can I put it? A lot of larger brokerages sell more properties. A lot of times it's just based on name.
The name brand.
Right? Just in Louis Vuitton, Gucci. Like people will go out and they will, just because of the name itself. I don't care if the bag is what are those red boots?
Oh my goodness.
That everybody want now? I don't even know the name of, but somehow because there's so much money, everybody wants them.
Got a certain price tag on it. People running
exactly,
over there.
Or with the Yeezys, whatever. I don't. The Yeezy, those slippers. Everybody walking around paying hundreds of dollars for.
It's their brand.
They look like Crocs, but just
right, yeah.
But because it has that name brand, people will buy it. So just be careful of that as well. Not to say that you have to go with a company just because of their name, because don't get me wrong, there's bad agents and good agents in every brokerage. Right. But name recognition, can help you, can help the seller, the buyer, as well as the agent as well. Yeah. So I would say be careful with that too.
All right.
Anything else before I go on to the next one?
We can continue.
All right. I done lost track now. Hold on. All right. So the next one is, you don't need a real estate agent to buy or sell a house. True or false?
I'm going to say false.
No, that's true.
Oh, you don't need an agent.
You do not need an agent. You could do it yourself. You could put a for sale by owner
Interesting. Okay.
sign in your window, and somebody could walk by and say, I'm going to give you cash, and you could take their cash and write a contract on a piece of paper. Y'all go down to City Hall, do a contract. Do the deed transfer.
Yeah.
And it's done.
Okay. So what are some of the pros and cons?
There you go. Right.
Let's get into it.
So here's the thing. Most people, I'll speak about the seller side right now.
Okay.
If a seller does that, in most situations, they're opening themselves up to liability. Because in Pennsylvania, there's certain paperwork that has to be given to a buyer.
Right.
If you're selling a property.
Okay.
Residential.
Okay.
Commercial, not so much. Residential, if you want to purchase my property and I'm for sale by owner, there's certain documentation. There's disclosures I have to give to you. Mm-hmm. And if I don't give those disclosures to you, and then you, Chris, a year after living in the house, find out that there's, I don't know, mold in the attic, and
they didn't say anything about it.
They didn't say anything about it, right? You didn't get any disclosures. Then guess what? You, Chris, could potentially come back and sue me for sale by owner.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of paperwork that, and I'm not going to get into it because y'all got to use a real estate agent. So I'm not telling y'all everything. But just make sure you protect yourself, right? The other thing is, in most situations when you're for sale by owner, you're thinking that you're saving on commission, but technically you're really not, because most for sale by owner properties sell on average 26% less than what a property would have sold for if you use the real estate agent.
Why is that?
Because we're trained in negotiation. We're trained in marketing. We expose your property to so many more people. Right?
They're professionals.
We're professionals. Exactly. This is what we're trained to do. So I can sell it myself. I can put a sign in the window and I can sell it myself. Well, how many people want to see that sign?
Yeah.
Right? All right, I'll put it on Craigslist. Okay, you put it on Craigslist.
You don't have MLS though. You don't have MLS.
You don't have MLS, but there are some companies now you can pay maybe a $500 flat fee.
Okay.
And have it on the MLS. Okay. But you still don't have the negotiation skills.
Right.
And we, as good real estate agents, we market in many other ways. We have whole databases of people, agents, clients, past clients that we've worked with. There's things that we do on a daily basis to market properties that you're not doing. Why? Because that's not what you're trained to do. Right. So in most situations, we're able to find a buyer who's willing to pay more. Why? Because they see the value in having a real estate agent. So in most situations, even if it's a for sale by owner, not saying all, because I'm going to have somebody say, well, I sold my house myself to somebody and they didn't have it. Yes. But in most situations with for sale by owners, they end up paying a real estate agent anyway. They end up paying the real estate agent, maybe not on the list side to represent them, but on the buy side, because a lot of the buyers end up having agents. So the first thing I say, if I'm representing a buyer, right, and that buyer saw a for sale by owner, I can't not sell them that property, but I'm going to call that for sale by owner and ask, are you cooperating with real estate agents? Are you willing to pay me a commission? Yes, I'm willing to pay you a commission. I'll give you 3%. Okay, that's fine, sir. You can give me 3%. Okay, but guess what? My buyer has representation. You, sir or ma'am, don't have representation, right? So what happens is I'm trained in negotiation skills. Mr. Buyer or Mr. Seller, who maybe sold one other house before, he said, I got this down. He hasn't negotiated hundreds of transactions and contracts like I have. Right. So in most situations, my negotiation skills are able to work on my buyer's behalf. And that for sell by owner, in most situations, end up not getting what he potentially could have gotten if he had an agent representing him who's also experienced, right? And now we're negotiating with each other. We're going back and forth. But we're negotiating not in an egotistical way, but we're negotiating for the best outcome for both of our clients. Right? So that's why I don't want to say you shouldn't sell a house on your own, but that's one of the reasons why for sell by owners typically end up getting less money for their properties. You know, we just came out of a market where almost every property was selling like that quickly, right? But even in that situation, in most situations, if you had a real estate agent, you still would have ended up with more money. Yeah. You know, I've had multiple situations where I've had people who tried to sell their properties on their own. And, you know, I asked them, okay, well, you tried and now you're reaching out to me. What are some of the offers you got? Most of the time they don't want to give you that information because but once you build that trust with them, well, what are some of the offers you've gotten from other people? And they'll tell you in every situation, every single situation, I can honestly say I haven't gotten my client less than maybe $20,000 to $25,000 more. And my commission is nowhere near that. Yeah. Right? Depending on the price point. I mean, if I take into the average, right? I've been able to get my clients more money, you know, for their properties. So in every single situation. Yeah. So
it's very advantageous to have a real estate agent on your team, on your side.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like going to court and representing yourself. Who does that? Why do you want to do that? You don't want to do that. Leave it to the expert. You're not doing surgery on yourself. Right. You know, like,
we hope not, at least.
Well, no, my dad did yeah, so.
Story for another time.
Story for another time. But yeah, my daddy's like Davy Crockett. You know, yeah, he, you know, sold himself up multiple times. Wow. But anyway, yeah, so you don't want to just go out here alone. Yeah. You know, a real estate agent, a good real estate agent who has closed multiple transactions, trumps your two experiences in selling properties. One in 1992, the other one in 2001. You know, like
things have changed.
A lot has changed. Yeah. A lot has changed. So on the buyer side, right? A buyer can purchase a property without a real estate agent, right? But do you know what you should do to protect yourself? Right? Yeah. Yeah. Like you can buy this property. Yeah, you can go and transfer the deed over. And plenty of people have done it, right? Because they don't know the rules. Oh, yeah, I'm going to buy Mr. Joe's property down the street. I'm going to give him this money. I give him this check. You deposit the check. Then we go and we go to a notary or get a deed done with some attorney somewhere, or we record the deed, or maybe not use an attorney. I don't know. And when you go to sell that property again, guess what you find out? All of Mr. Joe's debt that he had on that property, you now owe on that property. Mr. Joe's gas bill that he was on a budget plan for 20 years. Yeah. And he sold you that property still owing the PGW $15,000. Guess who bill that is now?
It's yours now.
Yours. That water bill? $12,000 not paid to the water department. Guess who owe it? You. IRS liens, personal liens, judgments. Guess who owe that money now? You. But that's his. That's not mine. They don't have anything to do with the property. Yeah, it do. It attaches itself to the property, to real property.
Have you seen that happen?
1,000 times I've seen it. The worst situation I had it wasn't my client, but an agent I work with had a client. He didn't sell this guy this property, but this guy came to him to sell a property he had acquired from someone else many years ago. And they sold the property for X amount of dollars. It's in the contract. Now, in the agreement of sale, it states that basically the short version is, as long as you have enough money to clear title, you have to proceed with selling that property. Wow. Okay.
You have to proceed.
You have to proceed. So even if you thought you were walking away with, let's say, $70,000, and there turns out to be $70,000 worth of liens and judgments against that house, as long as you have enough to pay your agent and pay those liens and judgments, Mr. Seller, you can walk away with $0 or get sued by that buyer.
Yeah.
So you have to be extremely careful. And I had a situation. Well, I didn't have a situation. Another agent had a situation. I remember talking about it where this man, he felt horrible because he did just that, transferred over a deed with somebody and didn't get title insurance, didn't get a title search done, none of that stuff. And he ended up having to pay off somebody else's debt because it attached itself to real property, to the property. So please, guys, do not just buy Uncle whoever's property, give them money, transfer a deed over. Even if you don't use a real estate agent, I'm gonna just say that because I care about people.
Right.
Please always just make sure you get title insurance, not just the title search.
Right.
Get title insurance because sometimes things are missed. There's fraudulent deeds out here. There's situations where people have did a fake deed and, a person bought the property, come to find out that person didn't really own the property. And that person is long gone.
Yeah.
With their money. Oof. And guess what? Sir, ma'am, now you're in court because the real owner showed up and you don't have the right. And I've heard of, again, this was actually somebody, matter of fact, this person actually did end up trying to buy a property without me.
Would you look at that?
I think about this situation. And I mean, I had sold this person many other properties, but this particular situation and this time, he ended up having to give the property back.
And it could have been avoided.
It could have been avoided.
Had he had an agent on his side.
On his side to actually look at the deed and the paperwork and the title report and, all of these things, to make sure. Now, we're not 100%, right?
Of course, yep.
But that's why you have title insurance. You have that level of protection, and he didn't get that. So, in that situation. But yeah, so as a buyer, yes, you can buy a property on your own, but who wants to do that, right? Yeah. You don't want to negotiate with the seller about inspections and all of these things, and deal with the mortgage company, the title company, and all of this stuff. And here's the other thing: in most situations, as a buyer, you're not paying the commission anyway, because what did I say earlier? When a seller contacts an agent to put their property on the market, that seller has already negotiated how much they're going to pay the buyer's agent as well as their agent. Right? Yeah. So not in every situation, but in most situations, when a property is listed in the MLS, that commission is being paid by the seller, not by you, the buyer.
That's interesting.
So it only makes sense.
Yeah.
For you to have a real estate agent on your side,
especially as a buyer.
Yeah, exactly. Well, both,
everybody, both,
because there's a lot of liability, on either end. A lot of things that could happen, So on both sides, you should have a real estate agent. Yeah. Okay.
Both sides.
both sides. All right. So the next one is, and this one is for real estate agents. I actually got these from several people I was talking to. Realtors have a very flexible schedule. True or false?
Realtors have a very flexible schedule.
Like we can do whatever we want with our time.
That's false. That's definitely false. I think that's false. Yeah, because all of the. Well, I'll ask you this. Is there ever a time where you are working with multiple clients at once?
Yeah.
Okay, then you definitely don't have a flexible schedule.
Not at all.
There's no way you have a flexible schedule.
Well, this is what I can say. I have a flexible schedule in that if I decide on a Tuesday, I don't want to work. I don't feel good. I just can't work. I don't have to. I don't have anyone to call out to.
Right.
I can call my clients and say, I don't feel well. They're the real bosses in that situation. Yeah. I don't feel well, and hopefully they'll be understanding. If not, then I don't know what to tell you, but I don't feel well and I'm not working today. Right. Or if I decide on Friday, I want to go to the beach. I can do that.
Right.
But here's the thing. Most real estate agents, while we're at the beach, guess what we're doing?
You're working.
We're working, right? So, yes, we have the flexibility to move around how we want to, but most successful real estate agents work on average between 45 to 60 hours a week.
Ooh. So talk about that. What is the work? What is the day-to-day work when you're not on site looking at a house or at your client's house speaking to them about the deal?
All right. So I'm going to tell you what my schedule is supposed to be. It doesn't always work out this way, but what it's supposed to be is, first thing in the morning, the very first thing that you do, you go over your schedule, make sure, or your appointments are set, blah, blah, blah. Then I'm supposed to, this is for me, I'm supposed to prospect for new business.
Okay.
That's on the phone,
right.
email, whatever it is, door knocking, whatever it is. I'm supposed to do that for at least 2 hours.
Okay.
In the morning, right?
Supposed to.
That's what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Per my coach, this is what I'm supposed to do. And then from there, checking emails, follow-up calls, blah, blah, blah. And maybe I might have a title report that I have to go over, right? I may have a contract that I have to negotiate, right? I may have a situation with an inspection and I have to contact the contractors, right? To make sure the work is getting done, right? And then from there, I have lunch, supposed to.
Yes.
I'm guilty of not having lunch every day, but
yeah.
I'm supposed to have lunch, right? And then from there, I check more emails and make more follow-up calls and all of those things. And administrative work is what we call it, right?
Got it.
Making sure all the paperwork is done, all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. And then I'm supposed to, I go out with buyers.
Got it.
So going out with buyers or even listing appointments with sellers takes the most time.
Got it.
All right. And then from there, like I said, is the paperwork and all of that. So yeah.
All right. New real estate agents out there. You heard it here. That's what your potential schedule is looking like.
It is looking like, that's the clean version.
Yeah.
That's the clean version. It's a lot that we do as real estate agents on the back end that, isn't always documented or seen, but we do what we need to do to make a transaction work. Yeah. Right. So
the heroes.
Thank you, the heroes. Yay. So I'm going to have to continue my how did you rate? I don't know. You got like one right, 1, 2 right.
I think I got 2 out of 3 right.
2 out of 3 right. I don't know. I didn't grade you. I don't know. But yeah, so there's a lot of myths out there about home buying and selling and even about real estate agents. So I'm going to continue with this.
This was good. This was
maybe
good.
Next week. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. But hopefully you guys were able to get some good information and, get some of your myths busted about real estate and buying and selling. So again, this has been Real Talk with the Real Estate Diva with Desiree Real Estate Diva McDuffie. I can be reached at Philly Real Estate Diva on social media, Instagram and Facebook, or you can go to phillyrealestatediva.com and register on my website, and I can get back in contact with you, or you can call me at 267-238-2877. Leave a message. Do not text that number, and I'll get back to you. Until next week, be blessed, guys.